How can you tell when a country is truly gearing up for a fight? Sometimes the biggest clues are hidden in plain sight, tucked away inside a single sentence. Today, we're going to take one of those sentences, a claim about the US and Iran, and we are going to tear it apart to see what it's really saying.
Okay, so this is the core sentence from our source material. And wow, there is a lot packed in here, right? It's not just saying something is happening, it's also claiming there's a historical pattern. And it's pointing to a very specific goal. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get right into it.
So you see, it looks like just one sentence, but it's really making three big points all at once. To really wrap our heads around the picture it's painting, we've got to deconstruct it, piece by piece, kind of like taking apart an engine to see how it really works.
First up, Trump's military order. Let's focus on the very first part of this claim. What is the fundamental action that's being described here? The first piece of the puzzle is this. Notice the very specific words here, large military deployment. The source isn't talking about sanctions or, just diplomatic chatter. It's pointing directly to a physical, strategic movement of forces. The word large suggests this is something significant, not just a routine patrol.
But here's where it gets really interesting. According to the source, this deployment isn't just happening in a vacuum. It's being presented as part of a familiar playbook. And that brings us to the second part of the claim, the so-called Venezuela pattern. Is history repeating itself? And this little phrase is what gives the entire claim its historical weight, its sense of urgency. The source isn't just reporting an event, it's interpreting it by drawing a straight line to something that happened in the past with Venezuela. The implication is crystal clear. What happened there might just be the blueprint for what's happening here. This really lays out the exact parallel the source is drawing. On the left, you've got the current situation with Iran. On the right, what they claim is the precedent with Venezuela, where a similar deployment supposedly came right before an attack. This comparison is the very foundation of the argument that something big is going on.
Okay, so we have the action, the deployment, and we have the alleged historical pattern, the Venezuela connection. But what about the purpose? What is the stated goal of all this? Well, the source gives a very direct answer. Listen to the language here. It's explicitly offensive, not defensive. Phrases like ready for a big attack and capable of striking immediately point to a force that's on high alert. This isn't about being a deterrent. This describes a force positioned to act, and to act fast.
Let's just break that down into two clear tactical goals the source is highlighting. First, get ready for a large-scale attack. Not a minor skirmish, but something big. Second, make sure you can launch that attack the very second the order comes down. It's this combination of massive scale and incredible speed that makes the claim so potent.
Okay, so we've taken the sentence apart, we've examined each component and seen how they all connect. Now let's put it all back together and look at the full picture that the source is painting for us.
So let's just recap the three building blocks we've pulled out of that sentence. You've got the action, a major military move. You've got the precedent, a historical parallel to a previous conflict. And you've got the intent, get ready for an immediate, major offensive strike. When you connect those three dots, just like the source does, the conclusion it's leading you to becomes pretty clear. This situation is being framed not as a simple show of force, but as a deliberate, tactical preparation for war. The pieces, they argue, are being moved into place for a reason. And all of this leads us to the final and frankly unsettling question that hangs over this entire claim. Based on this one sentence, this one chain of logic, the question it forces us to ask is a pretty serious one. Are the United States and Iran on the brink of war? It's a powerful assertion, all built from just a handful of words.